You're listening to The Residential Movement, where the focus is on making in-home dental care normal instead of novel or niche. I'm your host, Dr. Ashley Robinson, a house call dentist with a lot of passion for reaching patients who are best served in their home or residence. I'm here to encourage, equip, and empower dentists like you to begin offering in-home dental services for patients who cannot get to the office, while also enjoying a more balanced work life. We discuss everything from dentistry, business, ethics, mindset, and more. Listen in to learn how you can become a part of the residential movement.
I recently chatted with a listener who works full-time in an FQHC. She already made a many-year agreement to work there because of student loan forgiveness. But after that, she's wondering what to do next. She wants to continue to work with patients who are underserved, but she does not think she wants to continue her demanding public health career. If you're listening to this podcast about house call dentistry, you also likely care about serving the underserved because that's what house call dentists do. You may even currently work in a public health facility also. I know plenty of our official members of the residential movement who work in public health, whether it's at an FQHC, a VA, with IHS, or any other publicly funded health center. The fact that so many listeners work in these settings is no surprise to me at all. That's where my career began too. My conversation with this listener was so crazy because I felt like I was talking to myself just a few years ago. When I was a student, I knew that I wanted to work with patients who struggled for access, but based on the options presented to me, I assumed I would have to be an employee in a public health center. So that's exactly what I did. Well, I loved the work and I loved my patients, but I struggled with the same things that this listener is struggling with in her current public health role. I didn't love that I was double booked all the time. I didn't love that my boss could tell me when I could or couldn't take off of work. I didn't love offering just one procedure to a patient instead of quadrant dentistry because we focused more on patient volume than productivity. There were a lot of things I didn't love about my public health career, and I knew I couldn't spend 30 years in that setting. I have no hate toward dentists who do spend their careers in public health. I actually have a lot of respect for them. They work really hard, usually for lower pay, to meet a massive need and offer services to people who cannot get them elsewhere. Of course, the public health system is going to present flaws and challenges. Other dentists are just much better at tolerating or overcoming these challenges than I am, and I commend them for that. If you continue to work in public health forever, hats off to you. You do very meaningful work. I just knew it wasn't going to be for me. So if you're like me or this listener and you have the heart to serve patients in need, but you just can't take the public health grind any longer, house calls could be exactly what's in your future. Maybe you should be gearing up to start your own dental house call practice. A benefit of a dental house call practice is that it's designed to meet the needs of individual patients. It's not designed to be efficient. Public health facilities generally have to see so many people each day to keep their funding, so they focus on systems that allow them to increase patient volume and efficiency. Instead of spending your day running around seeing 20 plus patients, imagine taking your time and only seeing 2 to 4 patients a day. In a house call practice, you visit with patients who are homebound. These patients are generally medically complex and need someone who can be there and take the necessary time with them at each visit. The patients may have trouble staying open or cooperating, and you need to be able to patiently serve them. Plus, you need to take time to educate families and caregivers. When you're doing a good job with house calls and you're driving from home to home and spending adequate time with each patient, there are only going to be so many patients you can see each day. Spending quality time with patients during a house call is such a gift, especially relative to the minimal amount of time you spend with patients in a public health setting. Also, when you're at one person's home, you won't have multiple rooms of patients to juggle or any hygienist waiting on you. You can focus on meeting the needs of one patient at a time, not worrying about the needs of multiple patients at once. This is an advantage that house call practices have over public health settings, but it's also an advantage that house call practices have over traditional private practices too. As a dental house call practice owner, not only are you able to spend more quality time with fewer patients each day, but you're able to do so on your own terms. You set the schedule. If you know you have a bunch of quick denture deliveries, or if a procedure is going to take an extra long time because of the patient's cooperation level, you can schedule accordingly. Plus, if you know that you want to meet your friends for lunch at a certain restaurant, you can schedule your day to accommodate that too. To visualize what your day could look like as a house call dentist, get my free scheduling guide called A Day in the Life of a House Call Dentist at residentialmovement.com/a-day-in-the-life. The flexible scheduling of being a dental house call practice owner is a clear benefit over public health and traditional private practice settings. Who ever thought that you could have a practice that is so incredibly flexible and low stress while simultaneously increasing access to care? The dental house call model is unique for this reason. If you think dental house call practice ownership could be for you, consider joining Dental House Call Practice Academy, or DHCPA. This online course I created is the step-by-step roadmap for building your dental house call practice from scratch. It's everything that I wish I would have known before I started my house call practice. Enrollment will be opening soon, so visit residentialmovement.com/DHCPA to join the waitlist. Feel free to reach out to me at hello@residentialmovement.com. Thank you for listening today. I really appreciate you.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Residential Movement. If you like what you heard today, please leave a 5-star review and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you know someone who could benefit from this information, please share this with them. All of these actions help fuel the residential movement. Visit residentialmovement.com for show notes and for access to any links referenced in this episode. Thanks again for listening, Doc. Keep up the good work.